I hear a lot of theoretical content on YouTube answering the question, what is the best way to manage your money? The problem is a lot of that theoretical content doesn't give where the rubber meets the road content where you can really take that content away, implement it immediately, and see a change in your finances. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 practical things you can do today to not only manage your money well, but set yourself up for the next phase, which is actual financial freedom, where you never have to worry about money again. You have money to give, and you're living life with complete freedom. Let's go. I was 20 years old the first time that I got a bill I couldn't pay. My wife and I had just gotten married. We'd been married about 3 months, and the rent was due. $465 was our rent payment. That included our utilities. Yes, we were living in the Taj Mahal for sure. But $465, I remember getting that rent payment, and we didn't have enough money in the bank account to pay that bill. And I remember 2 weeks into the month, meaning our bill was 2 weeks late, the landlord called and said, "Hey, Mike and Leanne, I just noticed you guys haven't paid rent. We need you to come down and pay it immediately, or we're going to have to start adding late fees onto this." And that hit me like a ton of bricks. And let me tell you why. I can still remember today the feeling of not being able to pay my bills. I can remember the feeling of not only not being able to pay my bills, but not feeling like I was providing for my family and not feeling like I was actually growing towards freedom. It felt like a prison. And some of you may be there. Some of you may not be able to pay your bills. Well, I'll tell you what, watch every single tip in this video. You'll have some tips where you can start managing your money well. The very first thing you're gonna do is compartmentalize debt. You're gonna break debt up into 2 categories. You're gonna break debt up into consumer debt and investor debt. Consumer debt, wealth debt, debt that both takes and debt that gives. See, a lot of people say debt is bad with a blanket statement. I don't believe debt is bad. I believe bad debt is bad. And this is what you have to understand. Going into debt to get pleasure items, let's throw that out. But going into debt to get real estate, going into debt to get things that pay you money, that's good debt. In fact, I would even say when you're working your way out of financial ruin, when you're trying to get out of debt and you're trying to manage your money well, debt for your own personal house is actually bad debt because it doesn't pay you. It requires money of you every month. And yes, it's a forced savings account, but you're paying interest on that money. So you're often losing a lot of the money, your forced savings, in interest. So instead, I don't want you to take on debt for your own personal house too early. That even would be considered consumer debt because it doesn't pay you. We have both liability debt, that's a liability. You have to pay that, and asset debt, things that pay you. So instead, if you can get a loan for real estate, make sure you don't live in that piece of real estate, or make sure you're house hacking that real estate. We'll talk about that in a minute. So you want to get out of consumer debt as fast as you can. If you've had to take out debt to pay for soccer cleats and groceries and gas and as many things as you had to just keep the life going, you want to get out of that debt as fast as possible. Consumer debt, especially if it's not zero interest debt and it's on a credit card that's accruing 18, 19, 20+% interest, that is a very, very, very hard treadmill to get off of. And I want you to make sure that you don't stay on that treadmill too long because it's exhausting, it wears you out, and you know the truth about being on a treadmill? You don't get anywhere. And that's why I want you to get out of this debt. So get out of the consumer debt. Then we can move on to real investment debt. Consumer debt is what I call noose debt. It puts a strangler around your neck and you can't breathe and you can't move. We got to get rid of that. It's really hard to think about investing and vacations and growing and financial freedom when we have creditors chasing us down at extremely high interest rates. Let's get out of that debt. In fact, here's what I like to think about. If you have a bucket of water and you're putting water into that bucket and you have holes in that bucket, a lot of water can go in and you're going to keep losing it. That's what consumer debt does. No matter how much you make, it just keeps eating up your money. Let's plug the holes in that bucket, pay that off, so as we put water in the bucket, it stays there. And on the flip side, you want to accumulate as much investment debt as you can. Asset debt, debt that pays you every single month. I have personally millions and millions of dollars in debt because every single one of those pieces of debt pay me money every single month. For example, you have 2 financial gurus in the industry. One says no debt. That's Dave Ramsey, right? Most of you know Dave Ramsey's a no debt guy. He has a $50 million net worth, a very wealthy man. So you can't totally throw his ideas out the window. But then you have Robert Kiyosaki. He says take as much debt as you can. He has about $700 million in debt. And he's worth $450 million. He's worth 8 times as much because he believes in debt leverage. Leveraging debt can spike your net worth extremely high. And I know when you're trying to manage money and get out of debt, you're not thinking about net worth. But my friends, start thinking about it now because that's how you get out of it. So again, accumulate as much investment debt as possible because this will pay you every single month and it's usually low interest. The 2 places I like to take investment debt for is either real estate or businesses. Those are the top 2 places I believe investment debt works well. Taking on debt in order to invest in real estate and taking on debt in order to either buy or start businesses. Right now, the SBA or Small Business Association is loaning out millions of dollars to small businesses to both grow and build. You could take on debt to build a business. You could take on debt to buy real estate. Those will continue to pay you over and over and over again. So after you get as much debt as possible, now we need to get a side hustle to start putting more water in that bucket. After we've closed the holes, we've chopped off all that consumer debt, now let's start putting as much water into that bucket as possible. And a side hustle is a great way to do that. What would an extra $1,000 a month do to your income? $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month of extra income do for your financial picture? For most people, it would literally change their lives. It would create complete financial freedom. It would allow them to go out to dinner and order off the left side of the menu. You're like, Mike, what does that mean? My parents used to say this. It's a left menu night. And I'm like, what in the world is a left menu night? Well, if you go to most restaurants, the prices are on the right, the items are on the left. And the idea is we don't care about the price, order what you want. The idea with a side hustle is you're creating extra money every month that isn't your job, and now your financial picture completely changes. So we want to continue to put more water in that bucket because most of the time managing money is both the management problem and an earning problem. And the higher the earning goes, the better the management needs to be because you have more money to manage. It's interesting. The wealthier people get, the tighter management systems they have. And I've always found that interesting. I've always thought the people with less money ought to have tighter management systems because they have less to manage. And as people get wealthier, they manage it more so it's not wasted. Because a lot of people that earn that money, they value it. They don't want to waste it. So the idea with a side hustle is I'm putting more water into that bucket so I can continue to earn revenue so it completely changes my financial picture and then I can eliminate that debt, start giving, and start investing. The third thing is get a $1,500 to $2,000 a month ER fund. So get a savings account, throw a little bit of money in there till it hits $1,500 or $2,000 and then move on and continue to pay debt and continue to get that eliminated and start investing and giving. The reason I like an ER fund is because it just protects you against that silly thing that happens in the middle of the month. A tire blows on the car, you need to have the engine serviced, something happens and all of a sudden you'd either have to go into debt to pay that or you'd not be able to get to work. So the idea is make sure you have just a little bit of an ER fund so that you have a little breathing room each month. So if something does happen, you got a little bit of money that's got your back. Before we go on to our last 2 tips, make sure you share this video with other people that really are looking to manage their money well and create financial freedom. It means the world to us when people share our content so we can continue to help more people just like you. So think about somebody that's important to you, share this with them so that they too can start managing their money like a rock star. Let's get back to the content. The 4th tip is to get a mentor. I can't tell you how important mentorship is for your financial game. I can remember the first time I was sitting inside of a seminar room and a person got up and started teaching business principles, and then at the end they offered a mastermind and coaching program. It was $15,000 and I didn't have any money. $15,000. And I'm like, dude, what do you think I'm gonna do? Sell my house to get into this coaching program? And so my wife and I started thinking about it. We started praying about it. Is this really something we should invest in? And then it came into this category. Is this investment debt? Is this consumer debt? And I started thinking about this. This really is investing into a business for me. So I decided to put it on a credit card. That was in 2012. I can tell you this. I would not be standing in front of this video today sharing this with you had I not invested into a mentor in 2012. It was an astronomical amount of money to me. And at that time, I didn't have that kind of money at all. And I started working with this mentor. It changed my life. Not only was I able to meet people that were way smarter than me in the business space and financial space, I was able to start rubbing shoulders with people that had much more wealthy mindsets. And it elevated my ability to think about money, my ability to earn money, my network of people that knew how to earn money. And all of a sudden, my life change. You will not find a successful person that doesn't have a mentor, so don't think for a second you yourself can get to success without one. The idea is that the path has already been paved to success, but we have a hard time getting there without a mentor. I didn't know how to do it. I thought I could do it on my own. I tried and I failed until I finally got a mentor, and my whole business and life went forward so much faster. So please do yourself a favor and snag a mentor that can help you think through your finances, start investing, and get to the financial freedom you're really looking for. And the fifth way to manage your money is to make sure you spend more time on earning than saving. I love Robert Kiyosaki's quote here. He says, "You cannot save your way to wealth, because saving doesn't multiply." I love that quote. It's one of my favorite quotes of all time from his. Saving doesn't multiply. Yes, saving will limit you spending money on things that really don't matter to you, but focus more on earning so you can spend more time, money, and effort on things that do matter to you. Focus more on earning than you do on saving. So look at your life right now. If you have a 9-to-5 job and you're making X amount per hour, ask yourself, is there a way to get paid more for what I'm already doing? That's question number one. And question number two, is there a side hustle I could implement in order to generate an extra $1,000, $2,000 a month to take my income up, maybe even double it, so that I can start living that life of financial freedom? So ask a whole lot more questions of yourself around how to make more money than how to save more money. And one bonus tip, take out a piece of paper and write down a 3, 6, and 12-month goal. Where do you want to be in 90 days? 180 days and 365 days. Where do you want your financial picture to be in those periods of time? The reason I like those short finish lines is because it creates more check-ins. If my goal is coming in 90 days, I usually am thinking about it very, very rapidly because I only have 90 days to achieve it. You ever set a weight loss goal that was 12 months out, in the first 7 months you really didn't worry about it because you had 12 months, and by the time it's 12, you've effectively gained 12 pounds? Here's the thing. When we have a long time to achieve a goal, we take a long time to achieve a goal. How many of you have ever gone on vacation? Do you start packing 2 weeks beforehand? Some of you fanatics do. Stop bragging. But the truth of the matter is most of us pack the night before because we're leaving tomorrow. So when you create shorter time frames and goals, you'll also see spikes in productivity and spikes in success. I want to give you a free book that we wrote specifically to help people just like you create financial freedom. It's called The 7 Secrets of Managing Money and Creating Wealth. If you go into the descriptions and click that link, it's going to take you to a page. You can snag your free copy of that book and start managing your money like a rock star. Oh, and create that financial freedom we all want.